Since you were talking about power sector efficiency, India's government Power for All Vision 2022 aims to provide access to affordable, reliable, sustainable, and modern energy. However, a slew of challenges stand in way of achieving this target, like fossil fuel derived energy generation, which accounts for 80% of country's generation, along with transmission and distribution issues. What is
Yeah.
your take on Power for All?
See, in fact, this is multiple dimensions. In fact, gradually researchers are looking at redefining poverty. So poverty has been defined as in terms of consumption poverty or income poverty that
Thank
all
you.
of us know. But if you look at the energy poverty, how does it look like? Right. So the moment we say power for all, that essentially means we do not have power for all. Right. The other hypothesis is because we are not able to distribute or give power to all citizens or households of the economy, we are coming up with a policy on power for all, which itself is an interesting element of looking at the energy poverty standpoint. I mean, yes, I'm 100% agreeing on the vision of 2020 of, making power for all, because power is the minimum requirement as today's life. And let us look at again in the context of pandemic, what has saved us from the pandemic to be more worstly affected is the power sector. The undisrupted supply of power and technology has helped us to cope with the pandemic, because now everything has become digital. Things have become digital because we have power supply with us. Now, there should not be an inequality of power distribution, at least for the necessity use. I'm not talking about the heavy use. For example, industries demand high power compared to a household, but every household should at least have the possibility of enjoying the goods and services called power or electricity. So this policy for 2020 is definitely a great vision. In fact, this vision is also probably documented in one of the writings of Professor APJ Abdul Kalam when he spoke about the vision 2020, that power should be available for everybody. And now if you look at the data, for instance, now the government of India has set a target of installing 175 gigawatt of renewable energy capacity by 2022.
Yes.
Which includes 100 gigawatt from solar, 60 gigawatt from probably wind, and 10 gigawatt from biopower, and 5 gigawatt from small hydropower. Now, this was on newspaper long back when the report came out in terms of the target of the government of India. Now, let us understand from each component. So, the first, the investment is going to become in the renewable energy requirements, which is definitely going to help us in again minimizing the negative externality of emissions. The second is from solar. That means the government of India is actually putting a lot of emphasis on solar photovoltaics, yes, which means a lot of university institutions and R&D houses can get benefit because they have the potential to come up with better versions of solar PVs. Can we stop importing solar PV, make solar PV as an independent industry in India? Because today what is happening, almost every economy are capable of installing solar PV and get the solar energy to reduce the dependency on the oil market.
Yes.
Because oil market is very sensitive, beginning from 1962. And it is repetitively very unpredictable because the oil market has been kind of driver of economic growth in particular economy who are exporting, and becoming a problematic for other economy those are importing.
Yes, indeed.
Right? Now the third point, if you look at from the wind generation, because as I also told you, India has a mixed biodiversity with itself. So we have wind power, we have solar power, we also have tidal power. So I'm a little bit not happy why tide didn't came as one of the potential power generating elements. So India should also look at how to use tidal power to come up with more energy requirements. Now the fourth component is 10 gigawatt is targeted from the biopower. Now biopower essentially comes from different component of food waste, and it has been there. If you historically look at, then we used to have something called a gobar gas, right?
Yes.
Cow dung gas used to be one of the elements which every household potentially had at a particular point of time, which means we have the potential to deal with the minimum energy requirement from the renewable energy resources, which essentially can drive the economic growth because we can again go back and generate employment from this. We can reduce the emissions, we can make economy self-dependent, and also the policy says 5 gigawatt from small hydropowers, which is basically again increasing, in terms of the renewable potential, not depending on the coal or not depending on the petroleum product to, burn it and create electricity for use.
Yes.
So this is definitely going to help in terms of, in terms of adaptability and uses of electricity for all the households in Indian economy. Because if you link it with the Ujjwala scheme, for instance, right? Now, if we don't give electricity or power to all households, and why do we think power in terms of only electricity?
Yes.
Energy to all households, then we have to also meet the demand for households to supply the gas cylinders, LPG cylinders. So our demand for LPG cylinder has gone up.
Yes.
Because when Ujjwala is reaching all the households, essentially what is happening is they're also consuming LPG.
Yes.
So the LPG demand has gone up. Now we have to somehow manage in such a way that the substitution has to be done such a way that the renewable energy can substitute the non-renewable energy resources. So, for example, we can also come up with solutions like rooftop systems for solar installations. So many of the service sectors and banks and hotels have done it. Can we also do it at the household level? Can government give? Of course, subsidy is already given for the for the solar power. But the problem is on the batteries again. I come back to the batteries because you produce electricity for free and by subsidies from Government of India. But how do you save it?
Yes.
And the lifetime economy of battery is not very efficient.
No.
So battery needs to be changed, upgraded based on the uses and other activities.
Indeed.
So when we have a policy for power for all, it has to be addressed again from the bottom up approach. Because what happens is the way a Rajasthani household cook, not similar to the way an household in Orissa is cooking. So your composition of fuel are different, your demand for fuel are different, your usage of electricity is different. And in fact, these days many researchers are coming up with understanding the night light as a proxy for development.
Yes, seriously.
Right?
Great point, yes.
So, and unfortunately, if you look at the night light picture taken from the satellites, I don't think we have a convincing night light with us.
Yes.
So the Ministry of Urban Development has come up with different models and bylaws from 2016 onwards, just to look at the data of how the Power for All has started, and they are planning to do it. But the emphasis should be given at state level also. That means each state should also come up with different policies to converge with the central policies of Power for All. That is going to make us more economically viable. For example, look at the undivided Andhra Pradesh when they were giving free electricity to the farmers. Now, when you give free electricity to the farmers because they are not able to buy it from the market rates, and it is required because they're already in they're in poverty, right? Now, if Power for All is given to rest of the India, then obviously the potential to produce will go up. Probably we can encourage more of these small industries, right? Micro industries, tiny industries at household levels. Yeah. So anything, if you have any clarification or yes, before I wind it up. So also, we can accept some FDI in this.
Yes.
Foreign direct investment, right? In automatic route, we can bring for the renewable energy segments. Because what is happening is there are a lot of firms which are ready to invest on solar and wind investment. So can we also look at in terms of bringing of FDI in the renewable investment in energy? Because we also need investments. I mean, the government cannot come up with its own investment to kind of fulfill the 2022 goal of power for all. So one is we need international cooperation, we need international investment, not only finance but also technology.
Technology, yes. And that too affordable.
Yes, of course, affordable technologies and viable technologies, which we can replicate, we can modify, we can reinstall, and we can do typically reverse engineering, right?
I think International Solar Alliance played a catalyst role in, and India is also putting effort into that along with France.
Yes, that's true.
A very great point, sir, because in order to become $5 trillion economy, energy is an important sector.
Of course, yes, because we cannot afford to deal with the volatility nature of the oil imports.
Yes.